My name is Amber Kraus, also known as Barebodybabe. If you're not following me, go give me a follow on Instagram. I have decided to collab with Fitness Icon during this 3-week challenge. So I'm going to be each week giving you a yoga class, concentrating on what body parts you focused on this week. So for instance, this week 1 is a intensive lower body workout. So I'm going to focus on stretching out those glutes and hamstrings and giving your beautiful legs the flexibility and strength that they deserve. So if you do not have a yoga mat, you can get a towel or a carpet, anything that's comfortable. We're going to be focusing on being on the floor mostly, and as much as this is going to be a relaxed and stretching yoga based or yoga focused class, we are going to do some holds, so even getting a cushion just to make you a little bit more comfortable then. That's great. So with further ado, let's start. Just coming to a nice seated position. Easy pose or half lotus, wherever you are, whether you are a beginner or a advanced yogi. You can come to the mat, just sitting up nice and tall, closing the eyes, and just settling into our practice this morning. So taking a nice big inhale through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Feeling the shoulders, the chest and the belly rise and fall with each breath. We're going to do 3 more breaths. Inhale with me. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. Blinking open the eyes. You can come to an all fours, so just hopping over onto our hands and feet. Making sure that the hands are shoulder width distance under the shoulders or aligned. And if you look back, you can take your fists and measure out between your knees to make sure that your legs are hip width distance apart. And also your toes should be tucked, so you shouldn't be able to see your feet in this position. So we're just going to move through some cat and cow variations. So taking a nice big inhale and sending the belly down, looking up, just very gently moving through these. And exhale, pushing out of the hands, out of the shoulder blades, feeling the scapula stretching out here. Pushing out of the hips, starting to get a bit of a stretch in the lower back and the upper glutes. And inhaling, looking up, and exhaling. Start moving a bit faster here. Inhale and exhale. Last round. Inhale and exhale. Just finding a nice neutral spine now. Sitting in a Japanese pose. So if this is a bit intensive on your quads, because I suspect they're going to be sore, you can prop yourself up with that cushion or yoga block between the legs just to give your hips and quads a little bit more space. But if you are comfortable, we can sit here. And then just basically parting the feet for advanced yogis, tucking the pelvis, so scooping the pelvis forward, and then very slowly working our way back. So wherever you feel comfortable, where you need to be, not remembering to breathe. And if you're completely comfortable, you can come to lie flat on the mat and bringing the hands overhead. Still working on tucking the pelvis here. You're going to feel more of a stretch. It's going to be a little bit more intensive into the quads here. If you want, you can close your eyes. I'm going to hold this for 10 breaths. Last breath now, taking a nice big inhale. And with your exhale, you can start to rise up slowly. Wherever you are, just be mindful of your body. Be gentle. This is quite an intense pose, thunderbolt pose. Just rolling over. Placing hands on mats. Stepping back into a high plank, and then just rocking back and forth just to stretch out the feet. Coming to a pause, lowering knees, chest, chin. If you are familiar with chaturanga, you can implement that now. Finding a baby cobra. And then exhaling, pushing back into downward dog. Urdhva Mukha Savasana, also known as downward dog. It's really nice to stretch out the whole back part of the legs. So just maybe swaying from side to side, taking your dog for a walk. If you struggle to get your heels on the mat, you can bend into your feet, just aiming on keeping the back as straight as possible, so pushing out of the hands here, bringing the shoulders in, and then looking up towards your belly. And then slowly, as you move through the practice, eventually getting your heels to touch, but that's in your hamstrings. So if your hamstrings are struggling a little bit, then don't worry about it, you will get there eventually. Taking your right leg up to a three-legged dog, bending, and then just rolling into the hip here in a clockwise position. Moving through some rolls, just loosening up into the hips here, maybe into the opposite direction. Still pushing out of the hands here, being mindful of the body. Going back to our three-legged dog, and then stepping forward, bringing the right foot forward, lowering the left knee, untucking the toe, and then finding our first low lunge of the morning. If you want, you can place your hands on your knees and pushing out of the knee here, you're going to feel a nice stretch into the psoas muscles, your hip flexors. Inhaling, exhaling. Placing hands on mat, stepping back. Let's find our downward dog. Taking left leg up to find our three-legged dog. Bending knee, and then let's find a nice roll into the hips here.
still trying to distribute your weight evenly, so not throwing over completely to one side. Change direction of rolling. Still breathing. Let's find some stillness. Let's extend into our down dog here. And then stepping forward with the left leg. Facing knee to mat, untucking toes. And then reaching out here, tucking the pelvis, making sure that you have a nice stretch through the spine. Growing nice and tall here. And just sinking into the hips. If by any means or if there's any way that you feel any acute pains, then I do urge you to stop immediately. Pain is not good. Uncomfort is fine. We can sit with uncomfort, but any form of acute pains, then please do stop what you're doing or maybe back out of the pose a little bit. But still sitting with it. Awesome, placing hands to mat, tucking toes, stepping back, chaturanga. Or knees, chest, chin as I showed you earlier. Inhaling, upward facing dog. And exhaling, downward facing dog. Right leg goes up. And stepping forward, let's find our low lunge again. With our low lunge, you can take your foot out to the side, almost as if it's off the mat, so finding a nice 45-degree angle with the foot, placing the hands just in front of you. If this is where you are, then that's alright. If you do want to get a little bit more out of the pose, you can arch, so come onto the outer edge of your foot, and then open up the knee with the hands slightly. If this is still too easy for you and you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, you can come onto your elbows and then push out. It's quite intensive on the hips and glutes. Just remembering to breathe here. Taking nice big inhales and exhales. If you are in the deepest expression of the pose, you can slowly bring your leg back in, place hands on mat, walk back to the center, tuck toes, step back, and let's move through our chaturanga. Inhaling, making sure that you're pushing the heart space through, looking up, and sending our weight back into our downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg rises, and stepping to the front of the mat to find our low lunge. Again, what we do on one side, we're going to move over to the other side. So swiveling the foot over, angling, a nice 45 degrees angle. If this is where you are, then fantastic. If you'd like more from the pose, you can open up and then even lower. One last inhale with me. And gently bringing the foot back into center. Tucking toes, stepping back, and then pushing into a nice child's pose. Just lengthening into the spine here. If you struggle to get your hands above your head, you can bring them back. And if you do have lower back problems, you can actually do an extended child's pose, so just parting the knees and then lowering down. And just will give you a little bit more ease on your back and a little bit more lengthening. one last inhale with me. And then rising up. Coming to the center of the mat, you can flip over onto your bum. So we're going to do Gomakasana, or as I like to call it, cow face pose. It's quite an intense pose for glutes, so wherever you are, that's fine. But basically, you're going to make quite a acute angle with the left leg, so the lower leg, bringing the right leg over or on top, and then getting the feet to make 180 degrees line, so a nice straight line, so horizontal to the legs. You want to make sure that you're sitting on both sit bones here, reaching up, taking your left hand under, right hand on top, interlacing the hands. If you struggle to interlace the hands here, you can use a yoga strap or an item of clothing, a scarf, anything just to bring your hands to be able to touch. And then inhaling and exhaling, melting down. Still trying to keep both buttocks on the mat here. If this is too intense for you, you can release hands and then walk forward, just to give you a little bit more support. You're definitely going to feel this in the gluteal muscles, as well as the hips, even into the lower back. Breathing, don't forget to breathe. Inhale and exhale. So I'm going to do this nice and slowly, so don't get confused. We're going to do a nice little rotation, like so, and voila! You'll find that you are on the opposite side. So what we do on one side, we have to do on the other. Awesome. So reaching up, keeping left hand extended, right hand over, under, interlacing hands, sitting up through the spine, making sure that both your sit bones are on the floor, and then peeling over nice and gently. Again, if this is too intense for you, you can just bring your arms forward. One last inhale with me. And let's rise up slowly. Great, open the legs up, shaking out. Let's come back to our downward facing dog. Awesome. Taking an inhale, right leg rises, three-legged dog. Let's step to the front of the mat, placing the foot and knee at 180 degrees. So this is a pigeon pose. It's quite an intense pose, half pigeon. You can bring your foot in more, but I do encourage you to rather get it as straight, so in line with the top of your mat, and work from here. And then also keeping the hips nice and square, so not sitting over to one side or anything like that. Just staying nice and square. If you do have a prop, you can pop your yoga block under your bum or a cushion under your bum. And if this is too easy for you, you can lengthen through the spine and then slowly melt down. Working your left hip over onto the floor. Just relaxing into the pose, if there is such a thing. This is quite an intense pose. If you feel any emotions coming up now, then don't be too worried about it. We tend to carry emotions in our hips, especially females. It has to do with chakras and your sacral chakra and basically where we carry our life and create life. We carry a lot of our worries. Just slowly, wherever you are, coming out of the pose, placing hands on that, tucking the back toes, and with care stepping back. Slow down into a chaturanga. Inhaling, flipping your feet to find an upward facing dog or Urdhva Mukha Savasana. And exhaling to our downward dog. Pushing out of the hands now, you should start to feel a little bit looser in the hamstrings. Take a nice big inhale with me and exhaling to the mouth. One more. And exhaling. Left leg rises. And let's step to the front of our mat. So maybe just noticing which side feels a little bit more sticky, a little bit more tighter or looser. Just acknowledging the left from the right. I'm trying to see if we can get a balance in the body. I know my left side gives me problems. My left hip, I feel like an old woman sometimes. Just breathing here. Maybe even just rocking from side to side. Just to give your hips a little bit more love. And when you're ready, just settling into the pose. And giving some stillness in the body here. Staying in the positions for a little bit longer, you can pause this video and just give each breath or each position a little bit more time. So lowering knees to mat, coming back. Let's find ourselves on our butts, sitting up nice and tall in a staff pose. So inhaling, hands are going to go up. And exhaling, melting over. So don't just relax into this now. This is quite an active stretch. So we're not doing passive stretching, we're doing active stretching. So flexing the feet. So almost bringing your feet towards you. You're definitely going to feel a nice stretch into the calves here. And then maybe just walking the bum back a bit. And if this is where you are, that's fine. But we really like to keep the spine and back as straight as possible. If you want, you're super flexible, you can take a yoga strap or a scarf or a towel and wrap it around your feet or use your yoga blocks. And then with each inhale and exhale, you can melt down a little bit more. Inhale and exhale. Just relaxing the shoulders as well. One last inhale. And rising up. Bringing your right knee in and tucking it on your left leg. We're going to do a Janusarasana. So reaching up and sending the chin towards the left foot. 2 more breaths here. Rolling up slowly, head coming up last. You can take your foot out a little bit more. So I like to place my elbow on my inner leg. You're going to reach up and then we're going to send our weight over to the left hand side. So if this is where you are, that's fine, but the idea is to get the chest as open as possible and to look up. So we get nice stretch into the hips here. Definitely going to feel it in the side body, in the hamstrings. Rising up and switch over to the opposite side, bringing our left leg in, inhaling, reaching up nice and tall, and exhaling to melt down. Parting the legs slightly. Leg in. Inhaling, left hand goes up and let's melt over to the right hand side. Opening up here. Sending the breath to places in the body where you may feel discomfort. Awesome. So just rolling back over into our downward facing dog. Just taking a moment here, nice and easy. Just pushing out of the hands, seeing if you can really get the feet down. If you already have your heels on the mat, just changing the dynamic up a little bit. See if you can lift all 10 toes. Gripping the mat here with the hands. Breathing. Rolling over, Stepping through, coming to lie on your mat. To find a nice bridge pose, so keeping the heels hip width distance apart, trying to get the tips of the fingers to touch the heels. On the next inhale, we're going to scoop our pelvis up towards the sky. So taking a nice big inhale here, and exhaling, scooping up. Maybe just readjusting, scooping, getting the fingers to touch, really pushing out of this. We're going to make this nice and active. So inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, up, and exhale, lower. Inhale to rise, pushing out of the floor here, and exhale to lower. One last one, inhaling to rise. Maybe just holding it here, you can interlace the fingers, pushing out of the floor here with the shoulders, and keeping the head as still as possible here. Maybe just changing the dynamic up a little bit again, seeing as if you can pull your heels towards your shoulders. So you definitely feel this in the glutes here once again, and almost thinking of keeping a soccer ball or a tennis ball between the knees, so not flaring out but trying to keep the hips nice and square here. Lowering again, rising up slowly and flipping over. So one of the last poses of the practice is going to be an Ustrasana, so a camel pose. It really opens the front body, so you feel nice stretch into the quads here. So I'm going to first demonstrate and then you can do it with me. So again, keeping the knees hip width distance apart, placing the hands like so on the sacrum, and then very gently lowering back, looking up to the ceiling. And if this is where you are, that's perfect. Some people struggle to get lower than this, but everybody is different. If you would like a little bit of help, you can tuck the toes here, and then maybe see, looking back, if you can reach and find your feet here, and really sending the hips forward here, still looking up. If this is still easy for you, you can untuck the toes and then look back. If you struggle to breathe through the nose here, you can breathe in and out through the mouth. Out of it, we're going to place hands on sacrum again, and then slowly come up. Let's just come to sit down. If you really are feeling uncomfortable in your back, you can go forward into a child's pose, but I rather invite you to notice the sensations in the spine here, in the lower spine and the sacrum. Notice what you're feeling. Do you feel a little bit more relieved? Do you feel more tense? What is it that your body is offering you today? Just sitting here, we're going to go through one more round. Taking a nice big inhale, rising up with me. Placing hands in sacrum. Inhaling and exhaling to melt down once again. Maybe seeing this time around there's a bit more space in the body here. Maybe you're able to go a little bit further. One last inhale. Bringing the toes to touch, just rocking from side to side. Swinging your legs over. And come to lying down on the mat. Bringing both knees up, gripping your knees or shins with your arms and just rolling from side to side, massaging the sacrum, getting out all the creases from your lower back, maybe going in circles, just changing direction here. Still keeping the right leg up, you're going to send the left leg down. We're going to grip the inside of the foot and we're just going to pull down, sending the knee towards the floor. Try to keep both shoulders on the mat here. You can place your left hand on your left hip to try to keep your body square. You should be feeling a pinch here. Taking left hand onto right knee. Oh my goodness, I'm dyslexic this morning. And sending your knee over to the opposite direction. Making sure that shoulders are flat on the mat here once again. And looking over into the opposite direction from which your leg is. Again, if this is really easy for you, you can interlace the toe here and extend. You're going to feel that on the outer edge of your leg. You feel a nice stretch here. Slowly moving out of it, coming back to center. Swapping out the legs here. So taking left hand into the inside of your foot, or you can place it onto the outside of the foot, whatever's more comfortable for you. Pulling down nice and hard here. Once again, feeling a pinch in the hip. If you don't feel that pinch, you can just adjust your leg to see what's comfortable for you. As we start to slow the practice down, notice maybe the sensations in the body, in the legs particularly. Do you feel a little bit looser? Or was this class just pain? Terrible pain the whole way through? I hope it wasn't. Taking right hand to left knee and just guiding the left knee over. Twists are great for the body. They expel all the toxins. If you extended your leg on the left side, you can do so now on the right. Seeing if you can get a little bit deeper into this pose now. And coming back to center. So the last pose of today is Shavasana. Some people think it's the hardest pose. And knock my plant over. It's the hardest pose because pose where we encourage you to relax completely. And in such a busy time, a busy world with so much technology and information that we're consuming, our minds are constantly busy. And instead of being mindful, we end up being mindful. So if you are cold, you can get a blankie to put over you. Maybe put something over your eyes. Just finding your last wiggles and movements before you settle into the mat, onto the mat. Letting the toes flop out naturally. Letting the fingers curl naturally. And just starting to come back to our normal breath, the normal rhythm, your rhythm. Taking a nice big inhale here, clenching the fists, squeezing every fiber in your body. Squeeze, 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 and relax. Let's do it one more time. Inhale. Squeeze, 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 squeeze everything you've got, your glutes, your quads, everything, and relax. Starting to become heavier on the mat, almost as if you're melting. Relaxing the jaw here, maybe placing the tongue on the roof of the mouth and parting the teeth slightly. Moving down, feel the collarbone, the chest, the biceps, the forearms, and the hands relax. Moving down the sternum, the navel, and the hips. Relax. Working through the quads, the hamstrings, the knees, the calves, the ankles, and the feet. Just becoming completely at peace and satisfied with your practice. Satisfied that you are able to give yourself this time. This time to release into the body, maybe get out of the body and or out of the mind and into the body. Maybe this is the first time you're actually relaxing, completely relaxing during lockdown, maybe in your life. If the mind is drifting, maybe just bringing it back to the space, back to the four corners of your mat. Maybe starting to wiggle the toes, touching the fingers, the tips of the fingers to the thumb. Maybe shaking the head, yes or no. Still keeping the eyes closed, rolling over onto your left or right side, whatever's more comfortable for you. Cradling the head here with the lower arm. Maybe just bringing a smile to your face, showing gratitude for your body, and taking for granted the most simple things. Life, movement. Your body works extremely hard each day to take you where it needs to be, to work out. To have the opportunity to do this yoga class is a blessing. Pushing down on the floor with the front hand, still keeping the eyes closed, and rising up to find a nice, comfortable position. Bring the hands up to find a prayer pose. Just remembering to bloom where you are planted. Bringing the thumbs to rest on the sternum, bowing the head in gratitude. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this first class. I hope to see you next week. And once again, if you're not following Fitness Icon or Barebodybabe, go hit a subscribe, a follow, a like, and show us support, guys. Share us on your stories, tag us, tell your friends about us, and yeah, we'll keep bringing you all the energy. And peace out.